about the new features which have been rolled out on the Achieve payroll software. We'll discuss the tier 2 validation for Petra clients. We'll also talk about how to set up proration dates and also how to set up our SNIT numbers. Then we'll also touch on the new SNIT format where we have the Ghana card numbers on it. Okay. Then later on we'll go to the third topic where we'll discuss about how to manage our employees, how to set up retired employees, how to set up national service employees who are not supposed to be paying tax, then also how to set up expatriates, then how to set up trainees in our system. Okay, so we move on to the main topic. But before that, after the session, we would have our question and answers. But also feel free to type in your questions in this comment section. So at any point in time, we'll be able to read and answer accordingly. Okay, so please let's move on to the main topic. So as we are all aware, in December last month, there was a new tax adjustment in the income tax, which currently affects our payroll. That's because it's effective this month, and we at Achieve Payroll have equally made adjustments to this effect. We've also blasted a mail with these new changes to all our client users, and we also want to assure you that we've made all the necessary changes to this effect. We want to assure you that we are abreast with all the necessary changes in the system so that you'll be comfortable using the payroll smoothly. So we'll look at the new tax changes. Okay, so please kindly let me know when I share my screen to take you through the new current changes. Please, can you see my screen? Okay, so this is the new tax amendment. So initially we were using the old tax figures and tax ratings. So the first 319 was nil, but currently it has been changed or increased to 365, and it continues to be nil or free. Then the next 100 has been increased to 110. The next 120 has been increased to 130. The next 3,000 remains the same as 3,000 at the same as the rate is still 17.5. Then the next 16,461 has been decreased to 16,395, which also remains at 25%. Exceeding 20,000 remains at 20,000 and at the rate 30%. So what this currently means is that we'll be paying less tax on our income for employees. Okay. Then we move on to the next topic. So with the next topic, we are discussing the new features that we have in the Achieve payroll software. So with that, we'll first look at the SNIT reports. So with the SNIT reports, there has been an update to the SNIT reports to include the Ghana card numbers. So we at Achieve Payroll have also made this effect in the system. So once you come to this software, you need, in order to enter into the software, you already know that we need our web address and also our user credentials. Once you enter, all you need to do is to go to your report side. So when you click on report side, it opens this interface for you. Then you click on the Social Security Tier 1 report. So once you click on it, you click on any of the previously run payrolls. Let's say if you have run payroll for the month of January 2021, you download the January 2021 reports. You drop down, you have two formats. You have the generic format, then you have the SNAITS portal format. So you click on the SNAITS portal format, then you click on the download button next to it. Once it's been downloaded, you quickly open it, then you would have that the new tax. So you have the new SNAITS reports with or featuring the NI numbers. So what this means is that you would have to update the system with the individual or your employees NI numbers or the Ghana card numbers. Okay, so if you've not done that, you will not be able to upload these on the SNAITS portal. Okay, so you need to update the system with the Ghana card numbers. To do that, you can use the bulk update sheet, which in our previous webinar was explained. So let me quickly go through that with you. So to update it, you would have to go to your employees, your total employees. You click on my employees or total employees here. Then it opens this interface for you. Quickly go to actions on your right hand side. You click on update or bulk update employee details. You scroll down, you have two arrows in the middle. The first one allows you to select your employees one after the other, but the second one allows you to select your employees in bulk. So we select all employees by clicking on the double green arrow. Then you scroll down to select the SNAITS or the Ghana card numbers. So that would be the national ID type. So you select the national ID type, then the national ID number. So once you are done, you just click on next step, download the Excel sheets, and you populate in the Ghana card numbers and the Ghana card national ID. Okay, once you're done, you drop that back in here, then you click on next step over here. Once you're done, it will automatically update the system with the new Ghana card numbers. But let's say if you want to update one on one, you can actually click on my employees here. Then you click on the total employees again. You just click on one of the employees' names. So in this case, we'll click on Mrs. Angelina Boateng. You click on the name. You scroll down to the bottom, then you click on update personal details. Once you click on that, you would have these details here. Then you look up for national identification type. So that is it, which is under the heading identification type. You click down, you drop down. Let's say if it's not on Ghana card, it will be on any of these cards here. So you click on Ghana card, then you put in the Ghana card number. So with the Ghana card number, it has to be in a format GHA hyphen GHA hyphen 0 and the numbers. So let's say we have all the numbers hyphen the last number. Without the hyphens, the system would not accept it. So you'd have to make sure that you have all the hyphens just as it is on the Ghana card. Okay, so once you are done with this, you quickly come down and you update details. Okay, so we move on to the next one, which is the SNAITS numbers and reference numbers. So the feedback we got from our employee or from our clients is that some of their employees have SNIT reference numbers. Initially, we didn't include that in our software, but currently we have that included in the software, and the reference number takes up maximum 11 characters, whilst the SNIT actual numbers is 13 characters. So we now have, or you can now input in the SNIT reference numbers and also the SNIT numbers. So you can see that once I put my cursor on where you have the social security number, it gives me a pop-up which says a valid social security number has between 11 and 13 characters. You have end over there because it can't be 12 numbers, or it can be 12 characters, and it can be less than 11 characters also. So it's either an 11 character alphanumeric character or a 13 alphanumeric character. Once you have that, you'll be able to click on update details. So let's say if it's a 12 alphanumeric character, once you delete it, the system would not accept. So we have the invalid SNIT number. So once you have a wrong number, let's say you have these numbers which is not up to 11 or 10, you would have a display saying invalid SNIT number. When if it's more than, you will not be able to enter because it's more than 13 characters. So currently I'm entering figures, but you won't have that in the system. Okay, so that's how you'll be able to update your social security numbers. Again, the same way we did for the Ghana card numbers in bulk, you can also do similarly with the social security numbers in bulk, whereby you use the same process we used earlier on in updating our system with the bulk part of the system. Okay. So the last update that I want to talk about, okay, the last two updates I want to talk about would be how to set up proration date for in our system. So we've realized that some companies or most companies have their um, number of days they work in a year, or sorry, in a month, not necessarily using the number of days in the months or in the calendar months as their proration date. So they would have to input in their number of days they work in the calendar month as their proration date. So to set that one also, all you need to do is to quickly go to company setup. You click on company setup, then you go to advanced payroll setup. So you would have to actually put the proration on. So since it's on no, if it's on no, you just have to click on yes, then you'll be able to set it up. Then you would go to, you scroll up, then you go to the pay schedule. So after you come to the general page and you click on the yes for proration, you would come back to the top, then you click on pay schedule. So under the pay schedule, you would have the pay schedules that you've already set up in the system. So you just click on the one that you are currently using. You click on the three dots that you find on it, then you click on edit. So that at the edit side, you would have the name of the pay run. You have your monthly pay run. That's your how frequent you run your payroll. Then you have the number of days. So if you have in your company your proration date or your not total number of working days in the month, if it's 22, you just type in 22. If it's 25, you type in 25. Then you are good. All you need to do is just to click on update schedule, then it takes effect. So what this means is that when there is a proration, let's say an employee is in the system, or you hire a new person, let's say on the 8th of January, and you allow proration in your company, or what this means is that the total base, or the base of the person, will be divided by the proration number that you've set in the system. Other than that, the system would use the default number, which is 31. So you'd have to set this one up to allow the proration. So that will be the total number of the base pay over the number of days that you set in the system. Okay, so that's how you set up for your proration. Okay, so we move on to the last feature, which was also discussed in the previous webinar, but feedback getting to us is that we should throw a little light on that. So with that, we are talking about the tier two validation schedule for Petra clients. So these are for especially Petra clients or Petra customers. So with the tier two validation schedule, what you need to do is that you need to have your Petra number or Petra ID number in the system. And to have that, you would have to click on your company setup to set that one up. So we click on company setup here. Then you have your company details. So on the business profile details, all you need to do is to scroll down to where you have your social security information. So on here, you need to click on edit, then you'll be able to put in your Petra ID number over here. So what you need to do is to have your ER number, which is the employee reference number. Then you select Petra. You select Petra Trust. So you select Petra Trust. Then you put in your Petra ID, your Petra company ID number. So at any point in time, if you enter a wrong number, the system would give you an invalid Petra ID number. So it has to be correct. Then you'll be able to continue and update. So the Petra ID number always starts with a C, and the first C and O before you have your zeros. So the second character is O, not zero. A lot of people mistakenly type in 0 instead of O. So you have to complete your Petra number. Then once it's done, then you'll be able to update the system with it. Okay, so once this is fixed, you would have the invalid Petra ID changing to valid. Then you are good to go. Then you'll be able to update the system. Then once you update the system with the Petra ID number, it automatically evokes that option for you to validate your pay schedule. So how you can validate your pay schedule is in two ways. So the first one is once you run your payroll at the pay run page, which is on your left hand side. If you've already run your payroll or you have a drafted payroll, you click on it, then you finalize it. But let's say you've already finalized your payroll. Once you've already finalized your payroll, all you need to do is to come back to the posted pay runs. You click on it. So if you are a Petra client and you've entered your Petra ID number correctly, it evokes this extra option for you over here. So if all those who are not Petra clients would not have these feature here. So all you need to do is to just click on it here. You select which Petra product you are contributing to, then you preview it. So we have we can see that the system is telling us that this particular date schedule has already been run. So we're saying that a schedule already exists for this particular date. That means for this particular month, the schedule has already been validated. So we can't validate it again. But let's assume we've not validated our schedule for this particular month. Then we select the Petra product, then we preview. So once you preview, you would have this interface which gives you the total number of employees, the total earnings, deductions, net pays, contributions, and total cost. Okay, on here you can actually drop down the action bar and have these reports also here. But what we are interested in is to validate our schedule. So this is how errors look on the validation schedule. So once people are contributing towards tier 2 and they don't have either a Petra ID number or a SNIT ID number, it will flag it red or error. So what you need to do is to have at least a Petra ID number or a SNIT ID number for it to be validated. So all these errors that we are seeing over here is because these employees don't have Petra or SNIT ID numbers. Okay, so what you need to do is to use the same procedure in updating their details to update their Petra ID numbers and also their SNIT numbers. So at least if they have one of each, they can actually validate the schedule, or you can actually validate your schedule. So the others have Petra ID numbers, and also some have the social security numbers. So you can see them as valid. So for them, you don't have any errors on them. Those who have the errors would be the ones with their red backgrounds. So you wouldn't be able to validate. But let's assume if all these are correct, what you see is you see this cancel button here, but you see another green button saying validate. So once you click on that validate button, then you'll be done. It will push that schedule to the Petra Trust for them to process it for you. Then a push notification will be sent to your email. Then you'll be able to go ahead and pay for your tier 2. So that would be how to validate your schedule. So please, let's remember we need to have either our Petra numbers or our tier 2 or our tier 1 numbers, which is the SNIT numbers. Okay, yes. So that would be for the new update. Now we move on to the third feature or the third topic, where we'll talk about how to manage our employees in the system. So to do that, we would first look at how to set up employees. So how to set up employees is easy. What you need to do is to upload your employees into the system. So let's say we've uploaded our employees into the system and we have our total number of employees. So this is our number of employees, which says 72. And we know that, okay, Mr. Daniel Otu is an a retiree. What we need to do is to just click on Mr. Daniel Otu's name. Then we click on job. So we have the personal page, we have the job page, we have the pay page, but we click on job. So once we click on job, it gives us this field. Please hold on for me. Okay, so Mr. Daniel Otu is here, and when you look on the social security status, you would have him as employee, as a normal employee. So let's say he was a normal employee, and now we want to retire him in the system. All you need to do, or he's a retiree, all you need to do is to just come to the social security status, drop down where you have the employees, then you select retired for the person. So once you click on retired, the system automatically save these updates. And once it's done, you can quickly cross-check his pay. So as you can see, he's currently paying a withholding tax because he was already on, he was a contractor. So what you need to do is to just reload the page. Then you have the new retired amount over there. So you have him paying just tax. So let's have a different person. Let's look at a different person who was automatically an employee. So we look at Angela. So for Mrs. Angela, she's an employee. When you look at her pay, she's paying or she's contributing towards tier 1, tier 2, and yes, very just tier 1 and tier 2, and she has other loans and all that. Now we want to retire. What we need to do is to just click on job here, then we drop down the employee bit to retire. So the system would automatically save this. Once we come back to the pay side and we reload the page, the system would automatically pick that up and give us the employee schedule or pay structure without the contributions that they were making earlier on. So now she's just paying that for tax. Okay, so that's how you set up a retiree. You just come click on the person's name, you click on job, then you click on retired over here. Then the system automatically picks that. Then would look at how to set up expatriates. So to set up expatriates, all you need to do is we'll use the same person to do that. So let's assume the person is a normal employee, which we currently have the person on. What you need to do is to come back to the same page, which is the job. Then you scroll down to the tax details. So under the tax details, you have positions. So you drop the positions down, then you select expatriate. So once you select expatriate, you click on save, then the system adjusts the employee tax detail. Once it's done, you would have the person still under employee. So what this means is that this person who is an expatriate is also paying SNIT or contributing towards SNIT. But if you want to exempt the person from contributing towards tier 1, you just click on exempt from tier 1. And once you go to the pay side to view the pay structure, so we have this here. So once we reload the page, you have the person contributing towards only tier 2. So let's have a look at that. So we can see the tax and also we can see just the tier 2. Okay, but let's go back and change that to let's exempt the person also from paying or from contributing towards tier 2. So there are expatriates who don't contribute or they don't so they don't contribute towards tier 1 or tier 2. So for them, this is how you set them up. Once you set them up as expatriates, you come and exempt them from tier 1 and tier 2. You go to the pay side, you reload the page, then the system will adjust that to this. So you have the person not paying for or contributing towards tier 1 and tier 2. Now we have expatriates who were who were or who are 45 at registration. That means once they or at the time they came to Ghana or at the time they wanted to register for tier 2, they were 45. And we know that with the pension, with the NPRA law, if you want to contribute towards tier 1, you need to have a maximum of 15 years to contribute to. Other than that, you will not be eligible for that. So all those who won't have, or all those who don't have that 15-year span will not be eligible. So expatriates who are aged 45 at registration, you set them up using this. So once you click on that, you would have this in the system, then you are good to go. Similarly, you can do same for employees who, or normal employees who are Ghanaians. You set them up at age 45 over a year. Okay, so that is how you set up employees who are at age 45 and expatriates who are at age 45. Then we look at one critical situation, the NSPs or the National Service Persons, how to set the National Service Personnel up. So for them, we know that the law allows them to, or the law exempts them from paying any tax on their income. So for that, what you need to do is to set them up in the system also. So the first thing for you to do is to go to company setup. So you click on company setup. Once you are in the system, you click on company setup. Then you go to advanced payroll setup. So at the advanced payroll setup page, you have the general page, you have the pay items, the pay schedules, remittance parties, accounting, and contractor types. So you click on the contractor type, which is the last option. You click on it. Then you have this interface. So we have the suppliers. You have all these taxes or tax withholding tax rates for contract workers. So let's say that we don't have this already in the system, which is the national service. All you need to do is to just click on the add new over here, because you don't have anything that would exempt them from paying tax, because we have this at tax 5%, 7.5, 15. You don't have anything that says that they will not pay any withholding tax on their pay. So you need to set up one for them. So to set that one up, you would have to click on add new over here. Then you select no as no residents. So no residents will mean that they are residents. So you select no. Then you have a filing code. So the filing code, you can use your company's code. You can create a code for them, for you to, once you are filing their withholding tax, you'll be using. So let's say we'll create a code, or we'll follow these codes over here. So let's create one. So we have WRE NSS 001. So you create a code. Then the next line is withholding tax rate. So the withholding tax rate for them would be 0. Will be 0. So we leave it at 0. Then we describe what this contractor type is. So we just say national service personnel or national service person, so that we know that these are for national service persons. Once you are done, you click on save, then the system would automatically pick that. So we saw that once we clicked on no, the system tells us that these national service persons are what are residents in Ghana. Then we have their tax rate at 0 and their filing code. So what you need to do is you can quickly, if that is all your contract workers, or you have a lot of national service personnel that you want to add to the company, you can click on set as default, so that any national service personnel that you add would automatically pick this withholding tax. So you just leave it at set at default, or you can just leave it like that. Then you would have to assign this withholding tax to the employee or the national service person. So once you've set this up, you are good to set or assign it to the employee or the national service person. So you just click on my employees, then back to total employees. Then you look up for the employee or the national service person's name. Also, you can use a search by name here to search for the employee name. So let's say the service person's name is Emmanuel. You just type in Emmanuel here, then you enter. So it brings out all the Emmanuels in the system. Then you just quickly select the national service person. So you click on his name. Again, you go to job, then you scroll down to, so this person is a normal employee. So let's say once you are entering the service personnel, you would have to set them up under contractors so that you'll be able to apply the withholding tax on them. So you set them up to set them up as contractors, you click on actions over here, then you click on update job information. So over here we have the worker type as employees. You have the worker type as employee. So you just drop it down, then you select contractor. So once you select contractor, you just scroll down, then you click on next step. The reason for change would be a general edit. Then you issue an effective date. So you click on the 1st of January, then you save. Automatically, these persons will not pay or contribute to Social Security. Then again, you have the tax details blank. So what you need to do is just to select that. But since we've not reloaded the page, you don't have it. So you would have to reload the page. Then you go back to the job side. Then you select the national service personnel's at 0%. So once you do that, you click on save. Then you would have the tax details saved automatically. So once we go to the pay item or the pay page, you would have the person. So this is the old tax the person is paying. So once we reload it, it will be 0 for that person. So let's look at the effect. So we can see that the tax percentage for the person is what? 0, because this person is a national service personnel and it's not supposed to pay any tax. Similarly, if we have employees or you have contractors, let's say normal contractor, let's say this person is a normal contractor and the person is supposed to pay 7.5% as withholding tax or 10%. It's the same thing, or it's similar to the same the process that we did. So all you need to do is to just click on job, then you just drop down and select the appropriate withholding tax percent for the person. So we have seasonal workers at 5%, 7.5, 15%, 10%, etc. So you just select the appropriate withholding tax amount for the person, then you just assign it to the person's pay structure. Once you're done, again, you click on save, then the system automatically saves it. You reload the page, then you go back to the pay side, then you see that the person is paying 30%. So that's 10% of the person's base, which is the 300. So that's 10% of the person's base. Okay, so that will be how to set up contractors. So also, like I was saying earlier on, if you have employees who are not really employees, but they are like trainees, they also don't have a withholding tax on their salaries. You can also set them up in the system using the national service, using the same national service withholding tax amount, or you can equally just merge them into one by saying that these persons or these withholding tax are for national service personnel and trainees. So you can use the same filing code for them. So you just click on it, then it will apply to all these two categories of persons. Okay, so I think we've adjusted the topics now. So please, I would stand by for questions. If you have questions in that you want to ask, I would like you to ask them now. So open, please hold on for me. Okay, so looking at the questions that were sent to our chat section, we have Dunkwa saying that how would one create a setup for tier 3 and payment parties? So if you want to create up for tier 3, so if you want to create up for tier 3, what you need to do is just quickly go back into the system. Sorry. So you go back to the system. So tier 3, you go back to the system, you click on company setup. So under company setup, basically anything you want to create in a system would happen at the company setup. Okay, so once you go to company setup, you go to advanced payroll setup. At the advanced payroll setup, you click on pay items. So under pay items, you have your total allowances and earnings set up here. You have your benefits here, which follows. Then you have deductions. So under deductions, that's where you set up your tier 3. That's where you set up your tier 3. So you click on add new here. Then you have your tier 3 deduction and also your tier 3 contribution. So wherever you see deduction means it's for the employees. That's the employees that the employees are contributing towards tier 3, or it's being deducted from the employees amount. Then we have where you set up for the employers, if the employers are matching up the contribution for the employees. So under the deductions, you click on add new, then you click on tier 3. You put in your details here, which is, so if PF, you say PF. Then the display name is what your employees will see on their pay slips. So you can say tier 3. So over here you have PF because that's what you would want to see in the system. But in their on their pay slips, you would want them to see tier 3. You just type in tier 3 here. You select the percentage. If it's a percentage, let's say 5%, you put in the 5%. Then you select where this money would end up in. So if Spectra tier 3, select Spectra tier 3, then you click on add pay item. Okay, if it is 7%, you click on 7%, or you type in 7%. And also, if it's a fixed amount, let's say they are contributing an amount of 500 cedis, you click on to fixed amount, then you type in 500, then you click on add pay item. So that's how you would create a tier 3 schedule. So once you create for the employee, you would have to create similarly for the employer. That's if they are contributing towards tier 3 for the employees. But if they are not contributing towards tier 3 for the employees, then you don't need to create one for them. Okay, so we look at the second question. Okay, so there is a survey going on. So please kindly check the chat session and please you can fill it for us. And please you can raise your hands to if you have any questions so that we can unmute you, then we take your question. Okay, so Jab. Pick up, pick up, pick up. Hello, Jab. Hello, Jab. Hello, Jab. Your mic is on mute. You can ask your question.
Okay. Concerning the setup of the pay items, what if a situation where the employer is the one paying the tier 3?
So the employer contributing towards tier 3 for the employees. Sorry. So like I was saying earlier on, if the employer is creating or paying or contributing towards tier 3 for the employee, that's where you set them up under the contribution side. So please, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so we have contributions and we have deductions. So like I was saying earlier on, the deductions is what the employer, sorry, what the employee is contributing towards tier 3. But what the employer, which is the company, is contributing is to be set under contributions. So you click on add new year, then you click on tier 3 contribution. Then you put in, let's say if PF, you put in PF. To identify this field, you can put in PF, then put in into bracket employer. That you can identify which of the two is for the employer and which is for the employee. Then you select your rate. So let's say, please, what's the rate that you would want us to enter in?
5%.
So you put in 5%. Then you select the remittance party. So if it's Jab Ventures, you put in Jab Ventures, you create Jab Ventures at the remittance side, then you select Jab Ventures over here. So let's say we put in Petra tier 3. Once you're done, you just add pay item. Then automatically you have that here. So this is the one that we just created. You get it? So once it's created here, you go back to the total employees. Then let's say if it's for Mrs. Angelina Boatin, you just click on Angelina Boatin, you click on actions here, update employee pay, then you assign that particular pay to the employee. So you select the PF employer, you scroll down. So we have PF employer here. Then you select which is at 5%. If for any reason it's not 5% for Angela, but it's 10%, you can actually change that here for only Angelina. Then you just add the pay item. You get it? So that's how you create and add the PF employer for the employee. Please, are you clear now?
partly clear. This is for an individual, but if assuming it applies to all workers, like something like a
To
bulk
all
kind of
employees,
thing
what you
that.
need to do is once you create the PF for the employer, all you need to do is come back to the total employees. So under the total employees, you just click on total employees. Then you select actions over here. So we have bulk update details, bulk updates, bulk add employees, then bulk update salary. So this is where you would click. So you click on the bulk update salaries. Then again, you click on the total employees to select all of them. If for any reason, if yeah is not part, you just uncheck that person. Then you continue, click on next step. Then you select the pay item that you just created, which is the PF. You click on PF, you click on next step. Then you click on the download. So once you click on download, you just open the downloaded Excel sheets. Then you make adjustments to it. So what you can do is to click on enable. So what you have is that all the pay items have codes. Okay, so all the pay items have codes. So you just need to make sure that you have the the pay item code in head. Or what you can do is that once you come to the Excel sheet, the pay item codes would, when you put the cursor on the pay item code that you have there, it will display what that particular pay item is. Okay, so you scroll to your left, sorry, to your right, then you look out for what these various codes mean. So we are looking for PF employer. So that is it, PF employer. So we just have everybody at 5%. Okay, please ignore the percentage sign. The system already has that in mind. So you just type in the number over there. So for any reason, if let's say Dominic for Dominic, you are contributing 10%, you can make that effect here. You can make that change here. Then if some other employee is also having the same 10%, you can copy that and assign it to the other employee. Do you get it?
Okay.
Copy that, then you assign it here. So you just change them. So if there are 7% and other, you just make all those changes. Then you come back to the effective date side. You put in the effective date. Please be mindful of the date format you put in there. So 2022 -01 -01. Once you are done, you let it run through for all the employees. You save the Excel sheet. You come back to your page, then you drop it here.
Okay.
Once you drop it here, you click on next step, then the system will update the employees PF for employer. So that's how you'll be able to do that. Okay, George. Hello, George. Hello, George. Hello. Okay, so if hello, do we have George speaking? Okay, if you can okay, Yota. Hello, Yota.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. My name is Emmanuel. I represent Yota. My question is actually not discussed today. I joined this webinar because I run a small not-for-profit organization, and we are with Petra. So as we grow, we clearly need to automate our payroll system from the current Excel that we use, which has become very complicated. But when my colleagues reached out for the Achieve software and came back to do a presentation to me, there was one thing that they couldn't answer me when I asked about, and that's really why we have not been able to kickstart the use of the Achieve platform. And so when I got an email that this webinar was happening, I thought I could join myself. The issue is that for us as non-profit organizations, what we call generally NGOs, we can have one staff member who is paid from multiple projects. So it's not all one source. The source of funding for staff is not always a straitjacket. Some staff is just one, account that the resources come from. But most of the staff would be paid maybe 50% from here, 50% from the other. Sometimes 40 here, 60 there. Some people even 3 projects. But the platform, they couldn't demonstrate to me how I could show where each staff's funding source is. And that was problematic for me because then it would be difficult to show to each of my donors that this is the resources you gave for particular staff. So my question is this something that exists already in your system and then we just didn't know, or is that something you would do at some point? I mean, as the system develops, especially when it comes to NGOs, do you already have other NGOs working with Achieve that already have overcome this problem? And a small question to ask is whether your team has maybe a consultancy wing or a wing that can actually go and do custom training for specific companies when we need it, maybe for a small fee and so on. So that's one question, but with 2 or 3 sub questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Emmanuel. Okay, so I'll start answering your question from the last bit. So currently, we don't have a consult or a consultancy that we've assigned to run payroll for individuals and companies. So for that one, we are not doing that currently. So yes, and for the other bits, if you want training, we are actually available for any training. Once you reach out to us to take you through the system, myself and my other colleagues are always available to take you through the system. All you need to do is to let us know that you want training, then we'll book you for a day which is favorable for you. Then we'll take you through the onboarding, the training. Then for the first question, currently we don't have a customized project or a customized feature for NGOs, but we've been able to run payroll for NGOs whereby we merged the amounts and it worked fine. They came out or they gave us feedback saying that it's actually similar to what they were running, just that the monies weren't coming, or we didn't have a split, like you were saying, we don't have a split from different projects, but we consolidated everything into one, and it worked for them also. So for now, we can actually consolidate it for you, but going forward, we would have a feature where we would be able to split these projects so that it will accommodate you and make your reporting easier for you. A colleague of mine also wants to throw more light on this for you.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
Ralph.
think you've responded, so we can proceed from here. We can proceed.
Oh, okay, sure. So please, Emmanuel, please bear with us. Currently, would be able to merge or consolidate for you for now, but going forward, we'll try and or would update the system to be able to accommodate your project, different projects.
Okay, thank you. That really helps. Can you please share the email or contact where we can request an in-house training as you just described?
Okay, sure. So please, anybody who wants to contact us can have the email. It's been sent to you now in the chat section. So please, anybody who wants to book for appointments, sorry, for training, would have that in the section. So please, you can copy that. Okay, so we move on to the next
Thank you
question.
so much.
Please, you are welcome. And please kindly remember that there is a survey going on which has been shared in the chat section. So please kindly click on the link and please fill it out for us. Okay, please, is there any other person who wants to have any question for us? Okay, George. George, please, you can ask your question. Hello, George.
Yeah, hello, Kelly.
Yes, George.
Yeah, good afternoon, and
Good afternoon, George.
thank you so much. Thank you so much for the presentation, and
You're welcome.
I represent Jules Consorts.
Okay.
I joined in a bit late. There are some few challenges that I'm facing. It's like the interface is too complex. I personally too complex, and each time you have to call in, and I see that to be a border. I don't know if you are making some arrangement to get step-by-step approach so that clients will not have to call in so often, because I know for sure it's a new software, but certain basic things you should be able to have a step-by-step approach that will enable the client to conveniently prepare the payroll and some other few things. Okay, yeah, so sure, that's my major concern. Yes, and the other one, there's no free lunch. I know there's no free lunch. I hope all those on the meeting now, they believe that there's no free lunch. How are we paying for this software? How are we paying for this software? Are we going to pay based on client basis or based on individuals that are using it? Because for me, I represent Jules Consult, but we have other clients that we prepare payroll for. So how do we pay? How do we pay for the service that, because you are rendering service to us, and we need to pay you? How do we pay you? It's very important we know from the onset. Thank you.
Okay. So currently,
let me come in.
Okay.
Sergio, thank you very much for your question. I'm very grateful for the question I asked it. I think it's a very good question. Can you give me a second? Yeah, so as you're asking, there's no free lunch. Yesterday, there is no free lunch. And for us, you understand that as Achieve Payroll, it's Petra that formed Achieve Payroll based on I'm doing this business for a while, for about 10 years now. Our learning is what got us to develop this payroll software, which is that today, what we have learned is that companies, regardless of their size and regardless of the sort of financial backing that the company has, most of these companies are still using Excel. What that means for us is that Excel is a good application. However, in using Excel to run payroll with all of its complications, you realize that where the run tier 2 and schedules need to come in for us, it comes a lot of errors. And when you're running with Excel, sometimes it becomes difficult for you to be able to track most of these errors. And so with this learning, we decided to get into the payroll software and ensure that we offer the payroll software to all our clients for free. So that's our initial offering. The software is to all our clients for free. Our clients use that to run the payroll. So what it means is that it takes care of the automation, reduces all the errors that we are seeing when it comes to the sending for your tier 2 schedule, the tier 3 schedules, and all of the other errors that your payroll, your Excel payroll comes along with. So when you do that as a business, for us, it's a win-win, because what it means is that, one, your payroll is automated, all information coming to us is free. What that also means for us is that you build a very strong brand affinity with Petra, and you continue to stay with Petra for a longer period. And of course, with our business from our tier 2, tier 3, it's a paid business. It's not for free. We get fees from that. Beyond that as well, the employees that you also have on your payroll, we're also able to offer them our financial product as well, for which if they are interested and they buy into our products, we also get opportunity to make fees from our products. So that's how for the base product as is, we're offering it to you for free with that benefit. In the future, we might also come in with more advanced features that we might probably want to charge a fee for those advanced features. Today, everything else that you have on Achieve Payroll, all the features, the automation, is for free and will continue to be for free, and for us to also get a benefit as I described to you. So that's the model. The full model is what I've described for you in terms of ensuring that it's a win-win for both us, Petra, and then for you also as the organization, and for you as the account person running payroll as well. It's a win-win for all of us in the ecosystem. However, if we should come up with premium features like, let's say, payments, such that after running payroll, by the click of a button, all your employees' salaries get disbursed into their various bank accounts, mobile money accounts, whichever channel which you are paying the employee. That extra feature might come at a cost, but it's going to be a very, 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 very competitive pricing that we believe that most people would like to also onboard that extra feature. If you have someone that is not interested in that feature, you can continue to use the software as it's for free without any issues. So for us, that's how we've set up the business, and how we think about it. I think you also made mention of the fact that you find the user face a bit complicated. What we would like to do after this call is to have a session with you to also walk you through. Interestingly enough, for almost all our clients that we have and people that we've spoken to, they find our interface and our software very user-friendly. So I'm sure for you, we will need to have a one-on-one session with you, understand what your unique concerns are, and then get to walk you through the software once again and address what your UI UX concerns might be, your user concerns would be. So we are open to your suggestions with that as well. I think after the call, we'll immediately give you a call. I would like for you to also send an email to our support email, that's support@achievepayroll.com, and then we can pick up the conversation with you from there. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Thank you so much for. Kelly, can I go ahead?
Yes, please, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much for the response. I think we appreciate it. What I want to just add up is that there is a little challenge that I had when I was trying to send payslip to staff. I don't know if that is a general problem or it is specific to me. That has to do with payslip to staff. Payslip sent, and some have received the link, but they cannot open. Some receive the message, and there is no link. So I don't know. I'm not generalizing it. It may be something that is specific to me.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know if it is an issue that has come to your end, and how are we handling it? I think I'm okay for now.
Okay, so with respect to the pay slip issue, what we realized that during the onboarding for most organizations, the password, so the system allows you to password protect or not password protect the pay slips. So if you password protect it, when the pay slips go out to employees, they will not be able to open it unless they put in the password. And the password is pre-formatted and there are options for that. So what I would do is that we would still like to know your peculiar issue. If it's still pertaining, if it's a matter of your settings, we'll help you to do the appropriate settings such that everybody can receive their pay slips and see the pay slips when they receive it. Just to add, because of how sensitive payroll data is, there's a feature for you to password protect the payslip, either both via SMS and also via email as well. You can password protect both. And so for those of us who are interested in that feature, Kelly walked us through briefly how to do the password settings for the payslip. So we get conversant with the settings. But we would like to also speak to Mr. George personally to understand what your peculiar situation is, and then we can help you sort it out. If anyone here as well has a similar issue, you can also bring it to our attention and we'll help you out. Our email address for support is support@achievepayroll.com. If you have any issue, you can send an email to that email address and we'll address it. When you also go on this on the platform, there's an in-app chat section where we have our customer service agents readily available to resolve all your issues when you chat with them in-app. So Kelly walk us through briefly the payroll, the pay slip settings briefly.
Okay, thank you very much, Raphael. Please, like Raphael was saying, in the chat section, you have the support at Achieve Payroll there. So please, if you have any then you want to mail to us, you can use that. Okay, so let's go into set up our password. So to do that, please kindly confirm if you can see my screen. Okay, so once you enter into the system, you would have this interface. So to set up your password, like I was saying earlier, anything you need to set up in the on the payroll, on the payslip, or in the system, you would have to use the company setup. So we click on company setup, then we go to the advanced payroll setup page. Okay, so once you click on advanced payroll setup page, this is what you have, which is the general page and the payslip settings. Okay, so with the pay or with the payslip settings, you have these details there. We have the reply to email address where you would put in an email address here if you want your employees to actually reply to you once they have issues with their pay slips. Okay, then you have the SMS sender ID where you create once you send your pay slips to your employees, this is the name that would appear on the message. So let's say it's Spry, you put in Spry pay slip. should be a 11 in character, and you shouldn't have any space or special character in there. Then this is what you wanted to know. So we have the required password to open payslip. It's on no now. So once you click on yes, then you would have to set up the format. So with the format, you have two types of password format. You have the name and password. Sorry, you have the name and date of birth combination. Then you have the first 4 digits of your social security. Okay, so at any point in time, you can change it. If it's month on month, you can use this on for this month, then you can use the social security also for the next month, or you can leave it at 1. Okay, so with the name and date of birth combination, what you need to do is that the system would give you the format in which the password should look. So let's say we have Kelly Sodoki, which is my name, so you have KS. Then my date of birth here is 18th May, which is 505 dash 1985 1987. So but you could see that the 5 doesn't precede with a 0. So that is the date format. So you don't need the zeros in front of single digits. So let's say if my date of birth is 7th April, which will be 04. If I want to enter in my password, I'll type in KS, which is Kelly Sodoki, then I'll type in just the 7, then just the 4, then I would add the 1987. So that will be my password. Immediately if you put in any 0 preceding the single digits, then the system would reject that. So that's how you set up your password. Once you are done, you click on update settings, the system would pick. So anytime you download or you push your pay slips to your employees and they download it, they would have to know the password format, which the system would show. So the system would have a prompt notification that would indicate how the password format should be in. But before all this, what you need to do is that you need to update the system with their phone numbers, with their name and date of birth, also with their social security numbers. That's if you want to use the social security numbers. So if you don't have the social security numbers, then the system would then give them the temporary numbers, which they would have to use, and they don't know the temporary numbers, so they would have to come back to you and ask for the temporary numbers. But if you've updated the system with their social security numbers, then they can use that. And also if you've updated the system with their date of birth, then they can use that. So just like we did the updates in the first in the main discussion, it's the same way. You go to your employees, then you go to total employees, back to actions, employees details. So you click on update employees detail, you select the employees that you want to update their details, if or then you scroll down there, you select date of birth, or you select the social security, then you click on next step, you populate the sheet, Excel sheet, then you drop it back into the system, then it will be updated. Okay, so that's how you have to do that. You need to make sure that the social security numbers are in the system right, then also the date of birth are in the system right. That would enable them to have access to their pay slips using the required password to open site. Okay, please, are you clear on that? Okay, please, is there any other question? Okay, so if there are no other questions, we would like to bring this webinar session to a closure. But please, before that, please, I would like to remind you that there is a survey going on, please. So please, I would like you to fill out the sheet for us, and also please, you have the support at achievepayroll.com where you can mail us any of your requests. We would also send you a mail with the survey through the support mail so that you would have that. Okay. We would actually send you a mail with a link with the survey so that you can fill that out also. Okay, so thank you very much for your time, and we wish you well and enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you very much. Bye.